Friends, welcome. In this video, I will be discussing about a very specific topic. As you know that today is 5th of August. We have Bhumi Pujan, that is the puja of the land in which the magnificent Ram temple will be constructed. So, thinking of this, I took a topic that about Lord Ram only, that because many of us have a confusion about his story. The evidences which are there in South India or in Sri Lanka, they are very much old. In many videos, it is also being proved, but nobody discussed the main topic. Because that thing, that's whether Lord Ram exists or whether he is not exist, that entirely depends upon you how you think. So see, the general power is in your hands. If you will think, so he will exist. If you will not think, so he will not exist, right? So I will be discussing in this video that whether Lord Ram, do you have faith in him, or whether his entire life is a story for you, or whether for you it's he is imaginary, right? So let me first go in detail. Like, see, as we know that the story of Ramayana is very, 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 very much old, right? It was basically held in Treta Yuga, right? And Lord Ram belongs to Suryavansh, and is about his family we already know. Now, what happened is that at that time there was the sea. God always comes to earth when the power of the evil spirits gets increased, right? So in Treta Yuga, actually, what happens that there was an evil king known as Ravan. We actually everything we know about him, but still I am telling, right? Because after that only I will link with this. So actually, he was a son of a Brahmin, and through his tapasya and through his meditation, he attained miraculous powers from Lord Shiva and Brahma. But he misused. When he misused, see, it's a very common thing that whenever you are having maximum power, so it's a biggest art of a human to digest failures also and to digest too much success also. Because see, if you would not be able to digest failure, so you would not be able to get success. And if you have get success and if you are not able to digest that also, that at some peak of time your degradation will start, because you will start doing misuse of that power or that knowledge. Similarly, the same thing Ravan did. He was having so much miraculous powers that he considered himself to be most powerful, so a supreme powerful, due to which he started torturing people, right? But if we compare the character of Ravan with the people of Sri Lanka, so see, as a king, he was very good, right? He never tortured his people. He encouraged new policies. He did welfare of his people, but that was only for his people. But he was actually torturing the rest of the public. So Lord Vishnu thought that he has to teach him a lesson and he has to kill him. So he took avatar in the form of Lord Ram. Now, this story ended. We can't say that it ended at the last of that era. We can say that it at least ended in the mid of that era. According to history, it is believed that the story of Lord Ram is about 5000 BC. That is before Common Era, right? Full form of BC. And Lord Ram is the only ruler who has ruled about 11,000 years, right? He is the only ruler in the whole world that no ruler has ruled about 11,000 years, but he has ruled about 11,000 years, right? Since it is about 5000 BC years old, see, the land always remains the same. right? It never changes. Ayodhya, River Saryu, South India, Sri Lanka, Rameshwaram still exist today. They are not finished because earth and land remains always same, right? Now for example, currently I am living in Lucknow, so after 5000 years also this Lucknow will exist, it will not end, right? It will, like, it would not be destroyed. Similarly, the land remains the same, so the archaeologists and the historians, right, are the historians, through investigation they founded the evidences and they started co-relating the evidences with the story, right? Like they were also not clear because that time they were not alive, they were not there at that time, because the story is very much old. For example, we can, like, if you talk about Mughals or Britishers, at least we can have a faith, right, that they were there, because that story is not too much old, it's about 300 or 200 years old. But the story of Lord Ram is about 5000 BC years old. So I can also understand that for a common man it is very much difficult to understand a story or a character who is about 5000 years old, right? It is not so much easy because that person actually he never exists currently. Nobody has seen him through his eyes, and his story is also very much old, right? For example, if we talk about Akbar, Shahjahan, we can consider, because their evidences are there and their story is also not so much old, it is about just 300 or 200 years old. But the story of Lord Ram is in total complete different era, BC, that to 5000 BC. And if we talk about era, Treta Yuga it was, and now it's Kali Yuga. So you can see the variation between the two eras, right? That is why the people are having difficulty to have a faith in the story, because of, we can, there are various points. Point number 1, the time lapse. Point number 2, the time duration. Point number 3, his existence. Now, faith is a power also. Faith, we can say it's a power, because if you, because currently we are seeing through the eyes of knowledge. Now everybody says that God is everywhere, but some Russians or every Russians, Greeks or Romans, not Greeks and Romans also, especially Russians I am talking about, right? They don't believe in God, they consider work as their worship. That is a very good thing, because everybody is having its total different faith. That is why, if we will, we are seeing through the eyes of knowledge, if we will see through the eyes of devotee, then over here in this room also I can find about numerous gods and goddesses, right? But currently I am also seeing through these eyes of knowledge, right? I am not seeing through the eyes of a devotee. And the eyes of a devotee are totally different from the eyes of a common man, right? Because a devotee sees from the eyes of his heart, he never sees from these two eyes, he sees from the so whatever shape or whatever picture which he creates in his heart, that he sees in front of himself, right? Similarly, the story of Lord Ram is very much good. It teaches us the basic ethics of life, how in life if we are in a tough situation, how we have to balance. It also teaches us never be suppressed by a wrong thing. It shows us the obedience and the loyalty towards our parents, and friendship too, and the importance of promise, right? So it teaches us a variety of things in our life. But the main thing is we don't have to focus his existence. We have to focus on his teachings and we have to follow it, because Lord Ram's aim was not his publicity, right? He has taken born in on earth to establish a good human character so that the later periods and generations can and adopt it and can use in their life. He never took avatar, or he has never done his publicity also. See, you can think that he was a very great ruler also, but still he was not having any proud of himself, right? He never said to anything that how can you talk to me in that manner, and the biggest thing of himself was being humble. Being a prince of such a good kingdom, he took the help of normal monkeys to defeat. If he would have been a very egoistic person, then he first of all he would not have listened what his father or what his mother has told him. Second thing, he would have not used the help of common monkeys, but he used, because he was not having not any type of ego and proud of himself, though he was a prince of such a big kingdom, which also teaches us that we should never have any type of proud in ourselves, though we have achieved a lot of success, right? Similarly, according to me, I have faith in Lord Ram. That is a different thing. See, whether you have faith or whether you're not having faith. If you are not having faith, that is also correct. If you are having faith, that is also correct. But the basic thing which you have to adopt is his teachings, right? Similarly, if you consider himself as an imaginary character, right? If you think that Lord Ram is just an imaginary character, he was just there in epics, right? That is also correct, because again the problem, or that is not a problem, that is your thinking. The faith comes. You consider himself as an imaginary character, that is also fine. But if you will adopt his teachings and use it in your life, then it will be very, very beneficial. So we don't have to connect in this video. We don't have to connect in this video that whether Lord Ram exists or not. If he exists, that is also good. If he not exist, that is also very much good, right? But according to our Indian culture and Sanskrit books, it is given that he exists. Lord Ram was there. And Treta, Dwapar, Satyug, these Kalyug, these are the eras, right? Similarly, so we don't have to see about his existence, we have to learn about his teachings. What was his main purpose? If you want to become a historian, then that is a complete different thing. But for a common man, I am talking about, or for any person, if he is suffering if he is passing through a very bad time period in his life, through the teachings of Lord Ram, he can balance himself. For example, if you are having suffering a lot of failures in your life, right? So you can connect the story with Lord Ram, that he also didn't that he also didn't kill Ravan at first time. He also started with the complete procedure, and for 13 years he was having a very peaceful life in the forest. But from, like, if I talk about, he lived for 14 years of exile. So till 13 years he was having a very peaceful life. That Ravan and Sita and all that existed, that occurred in that 13 to 14 1 year. So within 1 year, that adventure story of Ravan and Ram exists, right? It was taken place. Similarly, now I would like to end this video, and my only request to all of you is that don't put your brain into the confusion that whether the God exists or not. Accept his teachings and use it in your life, as it would be extremely fruitful for you. Thank you. Have a nice day.